Hello, divine man. Hello, divine woman. And welcome to the safe space. Really quickly, if you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and like this video if you like the content and want to be exposed to more. As you can see by the title, I did come up with a name for this. It's called The Adult Child Part 2. The more I think about it, the more I think I actually want to have some others' opinions on this. So that is to come. Wink, wink. So I'm realizing, and I'm sure at this point in life, you have probably seen the same thing as well. We have a lot of children walking around this world claiming that they are adults. Now, healing never stops, okay? Healing never stops. When you decide to go on a healing journey, spiritual journey, uh, enlightening journey, whatever you choose to call it, the moment you decide to start working on yourself, you are signing up for a lifetime. Do you hear me? But I realize a lot of people don't ever sign up for that journey. So here they go, probably learning lessons here and there, but they just living, they surviving. Actually, they surviving. They're not allowing their minds to be open to the endless possibilities that is life. So you have a closed-minded individual who is barely attaching to any opportunities. And if they're attaching to opportunities, it's normally because it had to find its way to them, and they are so close-minded, right? Think growth mindset, right? You have the mindset to grow. So a lot of people don't have the mindset to grow. I know people who will remain nameless that are the same individual I met 10 years ago. At the beginning of my life, they are the same individual, no progress, no nothing. Now, this is in no way to throw shade. If you feel comfortable where you are, please stay where you are. However, you do not need to listen to this recording. I'm just saying. But for real though, we have a lot of adults that are children with long arms and legs. And if you are offended by that, I am not sorry. Anyways, I was looking at some pictures from my Google Drive last night that stemmed all the way back from like 27 2000, child, 2007, 2010, basically from a whole nother individual, right? I'd look at the individual I was when I was in high school versus who I am now. Completely different. I look at the pictures of me trying to smile or me looking miserable and the people I was around, and I'm looking at myself now, and I would have never ever guessed that I would be where I am now. You make those 5-year plans and you be like, oh, okay, all right, that's where I want to be in 5 years. And most of the time you don't even follow through with it, right? It's kind of like that, but like better. Once I started opening my mind to the different possibilities year by year, like, okay, this is what I learned this year. How can I apply that to my 5-year plan or something? I started noticing major changes. In all honesty, that does not happen overnight. And I know what people say, what happens in this house, stay in this house. What people don't know won't hurt them, and all these other excuses. If you remember any of them, go ahead and drop them below. What are some things that you heard growing up that kind of shifted your perception of life? Although this is pretty hard to say, if I'm completely honest, 10 years ago, I was the type of individual that I did not let people see me hurt. I was emotionally numb. I had no sense of direction. I was so focused on what life had told me was life. You know, what other people told me was life, that I did not see another way to live. You know, I thought I had to be associated with certain organizations. I had to be doing certain things on the weekend, recruiting people to, the list goes on. And thinking back now, those were some of the worst days of my life. If I'm completely honest, you know, the whole self sacrificing, the whole reporting to other individuals, and just my life has a funny way of teaching lessons. I look at those pictures and I'm like, yo, did I really look like that? Like, for real? I remember that day. Or I remember feeling like this. Or I don't even remember that day. Or I don't even remember taking this picture. And it's all like, for me, the pinnacle moment between who I was then and who I am now was realizing that I didn't want to keep surviving. I didn't just want to live, like just wake up to breathe and work for somebody else and just no hopes, no dreams. I wanted to live. I have always loved traveling. I wanted to travel. I wanted to make more money than the people around me ever seemed to care to make, you know? I wanted to be genuinely happy. And 10 years ago, you would have probably never known. I was just always smiling ear to ear. I was just, you know, God is testing me. Oh, and those were the worst years of my life. Going through different traumatic experiences and being told this is what you need to do to heal, and only to find out you going someplace to heal and those people are taking advantage of that. And just from it was the pinnacle moment was when I decided that enough was enough and it was time to live for me. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to end up. I thought I had an idea of where I was going to end up. And I had to say, I'm tired of people using me, abusing me, lying to me, and so on and so forth. And that was what happened for me to start waking up. You know, it was like my mind snapped in a good way, not a bad way, in a good way, for me to change. And of course, if you follow this series, you've heard my listening to the intuition and transforming. If you have not heard that, it is in this series. Please go back and listen to it, so it'll make a little more sense. So anyways, that was my pinnacle moment, my catalyst for who I am now, deciding that I was gonna say fuck all these people. I don't need to make you happy. I have known me since me knew me. And I am going to put myself first. And that was where my healing started. Now, rewinding back to what I said before, we have a lot of individuals that are living life as grown children. They're not learning the lessons. They're not doing anything that they need to do to grow. A lot of people just take that shit and they just keep doing what they doing. Listen, like if you listening to me, please listen real good. Please stop whatever you're doing. I need you to hear this. Anything that you've been through that you do not want to go through again, it's normally a lesson that you need to learn so you can move forward. That lesson brings healing. Healing brings growth. Growth brings transformation. You don't have to stay where you are. You can be better. But you have to choose to do that. You have to choose to invest in yourself because you are worth it so you can get there. But a lot of people ain't ready for that conversation. A lot of people just want to keep using other people. A lot of people they just children. They want to go around getting their resources from other individuals. And if you keep trying to live like that, sooner or later it's going to catch up with you. Because there's one thing where you are unable to provide for yourself. It's another thing when you can provide for yourself, but you're sucking life out of other people. Using them for what they have, materially, physically, mentally, sexually, whatever the case may be. You just snatching stuff at this point. And I'm not talking about snatching souls. I'm talking about you're snatching the very essence of other individuals. You're a fucking Gargamel. You're a fucking Gargamel. And oh my gosh, I can go on and on and on. But in all honesty, we got to bring it back to basics. I'm not here to promote healing. I'm here to just share my journey with healing. And I would only hope that I have, given someone the courage to go against the norm, right? I was talking to my cousin the other day. She's in healing. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm patient as that. What happens in this house stays in this house for the most part. You trust God to make things work out. So to hear her in healing, oh my gosh. I don't know if her listening to these or whatever, has kind of helped that, but I would love to think that it did. We don't need to live life in fear, in pain, in boxes. You can live outside the box. You can. You can. You can be all that you want to be and then some. The Ashley I was 10 years ago is very different from who I am today. That's two different people. And I don't know if I want to know that Ashley, if I'm honest, but who I was then, who she was made me who I am today. But I had to decide, you know what? I'm doing this. I cannot live like this anymore. So what is your catalyst? Have you received your catalyst yet? Has life not tossed you up and down and around enough yet? Is that what it is? What are you afraid of? What could possibly hold you back from being your best self? What could possibly hold you back from living a life of pleasure? Whatever it is, don't let it stop you. You are great. And I'm asking you to be great on purpose even more. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Until next time.